Everybody, happy Monday. I am Rebecca Bertoldi, one of your hosts, and this is our guest, Shirley Zacchio.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Monday.
Tara is home with COVID, so we're okay with that she's not here today. And so we are here to chat and entertain you. And since we had so many positive responses after last week with all of our color talk, Shirley is going to tell us about color and how we dress today, so we can look forward to that. But first, we need to go through our coffee cups.
All right, what you got?
So I have mine that is it is a mess already because I spilled some, but it says "Shh, almost. Now you may speak," and then it says "Never mind, I have to poop."
Yeah.
So this is I'm definitely one who does not talk to others before coffee. And you'll thank me for that if you ever talk to me before coffee. So that was a gift from my sister.
Yep, my kids know that very, very well. My kids all know how to make my coffee perfectly because they know when Mama's happy. It's safe in the household.
That's right.
And this is actually a gift from one of my kids. It says maybe she's born with it and maybe it's caffeine. And I jokingly say that my blood, if you tapped it, is not A, B, or O, or whatever they call it. It's Colombian, as in the bean. Okay, so cheers, good morning. Whatever's in your cup, hope it's a good one.
Yes. Awesome. So last time we really got to talk a bit about color. I don't think these glasses are going to work today. They're fogging up too much. Sorry guys, it's too humid still.
Ooh, Lord.
Even though they told us we would have a less, well, I guess it's a little less humid this morning, but it's more than I was expecting.
It's creeping up for the next couple of days, so.
One day I'm going to do this show. I'm going to have glasses. I'm going to have gray hair. It's going to be amazing.
But we do mousse and gel. We don't have to mess with it.
I have all of that. It doesn't matter.
Let us know what your secrets are for beating this humidity.
Yeah. And if you are watching live, I would appreciate it if you could type live in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, please type replay. So we were talking about colors last week, and this was a topic that people were pretty excited about. And we really got to explore color theory, how it affects us emotionally. And Shirley brought up a great point that these different colors and different emotions are a bit different when it comes to your clothing. Mm-hmm. So can you explain a little bit about what you meant by that?
So there's a lot of, as some of you or none of you know, I'm an image consultant. So I start with color. So how you dress in color, I can portray that in your clothes. I can also help you with your color branding so that you're in tune with what your message actually is. Because there's all kinds of messages that colors send to us, whether they're good or whether they're bad. Mm. So colors hold emotions. I usually have a hashtag that says color has energy. The other day I was wearing I'm obsessed with teal right now. I have it on. My bedroom is teal right now. I'm obsessed with the color teal. And it's a settling color. It's an earth color. It's a blue color. And so I was wearing this dress and everybody was like, oh my God, that dress. Oh my God, that dress, that color. It's fantastic. So yes, I love the color. So it gave me that energy that, oh, I look cute today, right? Yeah. But it also reciprocated that energy because the minute they saw it, they were happy. It gave them that energy. So color has energy, and it sends messages that we're constantly giving out. Because I dare you, right now I know I'm wearing a purple top, but I can't see it, right? So I liked it when I put it on. Now you get to like it or not if you don't like purple when you get to see it. So I know, right? There's a lot. Believe it or not, everybody has a thing about any color out there. So that's what a little bit means about the messaging that can be in colors, in your clothing, in your branding. Mm-hmm. Everything that you do really is part of color. Plays a big part in our lives.
Absolutely. And the color that I don't like is like a bright red.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't like me either, so that's okay. It doesn't look good on me. And I think just growing up with red hair and all of the torment that came with that, red is not my favorite color.
Correct.
I have learned over the years to love my hair, at least. But, I'm not wearing it. But, I mean, maroons, I do maroons, and they look good on me.
Yes.
In my opinion.
And a lot of redheads were told, don't wear red. Everybody has a shade of something. You have your best shade of blue. You have your best shade of red. We were talking about yellow. I was doing a color analysis party with 5 fabulous women yesterday. And they were like, I would have never thought about this color. And we got to red, and they're like, oh no. And I found the right shades of red for every single person in the room, and yellows. And so it's really, really important. But you have, no matter how much I say this shade of red is going to look good on you, you're never going to wear it because it's locked in there. And you're always going to think that unless we find the right color for you. So that's the message that it sends to you.
Well, I have to say, so Shirley did my colors. So I know this is one of my power colors, this army green.
Absolutely.
And I didn't like army green, and she told me I should be wearing more army green. And I was like, I don't know if I really love it. And then I put it on, and I was like, damn, I look good.
Your eyes are popping, your hair's popping. Yes, exactly.
So now I own many pieces of this color. But, like it's one of those things that you don't know until you try.
Correct.
And I did try red, and it was awful. But when you get into, like, so one of the questions I had for you, because I am teaching a class on Wednesday, is what color do I wear so that they're hearing me and the color is not taking over what I'm saying?
So and that's a really good question. It's one of the ones that I totally teach people to do. You want to neutralize as much as possible. So you don't want to wear a bright contrasting colors. So where your hair is, I would probably say in your beiges family, in your golds family, even in your greens family. But that way you're creating a harmony from your face to your clothes, and nothing's distracting. I tell people I don't wear a lot of jewelry when I'm presenting because they're listening to the clanking of the bracelets. The dangly earrings when I'm presenting. I neutralize everything so the words coming out of your mouth are very important. So for me, I wear a lot of chocolate brown when I'm presenting because my hair is dark, and on film it looks almost black, but it's very dark or a dark red, so I'm just basically neutralizing everything. There's no distraction, there's no bright nails, there's no big jewelry. The words, because I'm Italian, I can flag planes in while I'm presenting. You are too. So those movements, everything's distracting. Same with lipstick for women. I'm wearing a bright pink lipstick today, but for a presentation, I'll use as close to my neutral as possible. So I just minimize all the distractions so that my words are what they're focused in on.
Yeah. Because when I was initially looking at it, there's this like magenta top that I was looking at, because it does make me pop.
Yes.
It's a good color for me, but I heard Shirley in my head saying, that maybe it wasn't the right color, so I definitely wanted to ask her today.
Yeah, I save my bright and bolds, my magentas, for that day that you just don't want to exercise. Those are that pull that magenta out for that day that you're like, I've got to get my walk in, I've got to go out in the garden, I want to have that energy, because again, that's a bright, bold color. But when you're presenting, neutralize it. Maybe blues are always good, especially if there's more, and not that colors should be male or female, but when there's more men in the room, they respond more to blues. Blues and grays if it's in or taupes for men, because a taupe is a good color for you because you're in that warm family. So men respond differently to colors than women do. The women in the room probably went, girl, you look fabulous in that magenta, and they would have heard every word you said.
Right.
But it still at some point would have been distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So men and women respond to different colors differently.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So how many, when you're doing some of these colors, how many color families are there?
For every shade of a color, you start with the primary, so every color that comes off of the red, yellow, and blue primary situation, then you have all the colors that are born out of that. It's more of the seasons, so I do the seasonal, you're an autumn, you're a summer, you're a winter, you're a spring, and then from there, she's an autumn. Put in the comments if you can guess what season I am. That would be a good one, and I'll respond to that later. I'll just put this word out there. I have the drama colors in my wardrobe, so let me know what you think about that. But then every color, like green, I jokingly said that every color has 50 shades of whatever that is, and so it's a funny ha-ha moment. But there are different shades, and they can be such subtle nuances that this blue is not the same as that blue. You can see in my shirt, well, some of you can see in the shirt that there's the dark purple, there's the light purple, there's a pastel of it. So there's all those variations of colors that can make a difference.
Definitely. So when you're deciding some of these colors, how does that work exactly? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, no, so undertone in the skin is huge, and I know a lot of people out there researching it. Like, are my veins blue and are my veins green? That really, we all have the same color veins. It's just how they show up underneath our skin. The skin tone plays a huge part. Then I do the eyes have a bigger part. And then I factor in the hair, because I could change my hair to purple tomorrow. You could go, bold red, and then would that change your colors? I know. But there's people out there. I did a young lady who had soft pink hair yesterday. So there's no hair chip for a pink hair.
Right.
So, but if you neutralize their skin, and that's what we're always looking for, is that harmony in their skin that makes them glow, not overglow like you went crazy with bronzer, but that healthy, vibrant glow that we're looking for. So I always factor in the skin, the eyes, and then the hair.
Okay.
And then that's what creates that harmony.
Nice.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. The eyes play a big part. A lot of people like you have the gold flecking in your eyes, so that's why gold looks really good on you. I know we had a conversation about that because she loves silver jewelry. Mix your metals, that's okay. But you're really just, again, pulling those colors from nature, from you, to create that overall harmony.
Nice.
That's where I start.
And it's funny because I think a lot of times we may pick out colors and then notice that people give us compliments. So we'll stick with maybe that color, or probably more of that individual piece of clothing.
Absolutely.
Versus recognizing that it's the color that's bringing it out in them.
Correct.
But I've, like navy blues and this color green, I have found to be two of my power colors since going through that process with you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just don't know that people spend that much time thinking about it. And it's funny to me, like, I've been watching the Sex and the City reboot.
Okay. Oh, the fashion, please.
There's so much fashion in there.
So much.
Miranda keeps wearing red, though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Why are they doing that to her?
Do you know why?
No.
Because Miranda was the sexy of the, like, her whole character was portrayed as sexy. Red is like the top sexy color on the planet. For her blonde tone, it looks fabulous on her. So I can see
the redhead.
Oh, the Miranda, the redhead. Oh, I thought we're talking about who's the blonde? Who's the?
Well, you have Carrie.
Nope.
And then Samantha, who's not.
Samantha is the one, right?
She hasn't appeared yet.
Okay. All right. So she's still young in the season. Okay. So I thought it was okay. I got my characters mixed up. But when you say, for you as a redhead, and I know a lot of redheads are, again, one of my customers yesterday is like, I was a redhead and I was always told not to wear red. There is the right shade of red for a redhead. And I know that she's very fair on the skin, so the red can work for her. You have redding in your skin, so sometimes the red is the last color that you want to put to draw that out. People with rosacea, that's a color that you want to stay away from. You want to neutralize rosacea. That's another reason why green works so well for you, is because it pulls out the red. It doesn't enhance it. It neutralizes you. Exactly. That's a marketing thing that she just pulled. Did you see what she did right there? So yeah, exactly. So Army Green is your Visine. I like that.
That's right.
And she's using it in her branding. If you notice Rebecca's recent headshot, she did wear a shirt, either this one or similar. You wore the long sleeve one.
Yep.
But for her brand, when you're into marketing, you're trying to help your clients to get income. You're trying to ground them. You're trying to help them save money on their marketing, get money with their new clients. So that color also plays well in the financial world. You see a lot of banks with green in them. A lot of healthcare obviously is green because it's health, it's grounding. All those messages that are associated with colors as well helps to tie into what your brand is.
Okay.
Okay, I don't do bugs, y'all, and so I'm not crazy, but just saying, if you think I'm too...
There's flowers all around here, so there's bees.
Yeah, so I'm not a big bug person. I'm a city girl. I am your Carrie, your fashion crazy girl.
Yeah.
So absolutely, and I love that show is making a resurgence, and the big flowers, and everything about that was fabulous.
Yeah. It's definitely if you remember being shocked watching the original with how much sex was in there.
Yeah.
It's just as much now.
Exactly. But it's good. If you break each person apart, it was a lot of fun. So
what I do love about the reboot is that they do have different ladies in there. It's a bit more diverse,
mm-hmm.
and you have like other powerful women that are just, taking New York City by storm. So they're the women that we all kind of want to be,
exactly,
at least professionally, and so
it's a good thing.
It is.
That's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So what questions might you guys have? So type in some of the questions about color, especially if you're watching this on the replay, and we'll definitely get to answer those for you.
Yeah. So, if there's different, I don't want to say rules, but
mm-hmm.
if we have some guidelines.
Mm-hmm. Guidelines is good.
For when we're making presentations, are there any other, like, situations where you have some, like, any kind of guidelines where, I don't know.
Dating comes up a lot. Ooh. What to wear on a first date.
That's a good one.
I know that online dating is as big as it ever was, even through Facebook. I have a friend who said 3 of his siblings have all found their husbands or wives through, so it works. I know that a lot of people have used online dating. So then the psychology of what color to wear on a first date. Again, do you want it too bright? Do you want it, subdued? But how do you be authentically you as well on a date? That's a huge. I generally say for women to stay away from pink because it's sometimes portrayed, or soft pink. It's sometimes portrayed as a immature color. Don't know why. I love pink. I love all shades of pink. But you really want to find
the little girl pink.
The little girl pink, exactly. So that's one. A lot of people have an aversion to wearing yellow, but it's the happy color. So, how much or what doses. Red tend to be an aggravator. So if you're going to be on a date for a long time, a particular shade of red is going to increase the other person's blood pressure, and do you really want that? Unless the date's going really, really well, maybe. I don't know. You can send all kinds of different messages with the clothes that you wear, especially on a first date.
Mm-hmm.
Again, interviews, you want to keep it very neutral. Navy and grays are fantastic, again, because your words are going to be way more important than what you're wearing. Nothing bright, nothing flashy, no crazy jewelry that's going to make noise. Court situations, always a navy or gray or even a beige, just to keep everybody in the room calm, especially if it's a jury, where there's a jury situation. You just want to bring that level of calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of sense. Classrooms, classrooms are bright for a reason. They want to keep the kids energized and motivated. Orange, if you have newborns in your life, orange has been proven to increase IQ levels. So that's a good, I know back in the day when my kids were born, it was the black, red, and white craze of having all the toys, because those were brain stimulator colors. So all the toys back in the day were red, and combinations of those colors, not just one red toy. They literally were all black, white, and red because it made the brain do different things. So there's a lot of science behind colors.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'd probably say for some different situations.
You had mentioned not having too much jewelry on an interview. And I remember being in college, and at that point I used to wear rings on almost all my fingers. Unless they were clinking, like if I couldn't close my hands. And they were like too much.
Yeah.
And I wasn't wearing earrings or necklaces or anything else. It was just my rings. And I remember feeling so offended. And I'm like, well, this is the little piece of me that I get to bring to this interview.
Right.
And I felt like I've never been one to really want to be in suits. That's just never been me. And they were trying to stuff me in a suit and go out for interviews. And I'm like, no. I'm like, back then I was in college for graphic design, and I'm like, that's just not creative. And I want to be creative. And any job. And my theory was, any job that I'm applying for, it has a laid back kind of office because we're graphic designers.
Correct.
It's very rare that I ever saw an office where you had to be in a suit to go do graphic design. So I was like, no, that's not what their culture is. And I was fighting it. But to an extent, I understand now. Not that I would get into a suit still. but I do understand why I want to put my best foot forward and present myself that way. And then when I get the job, I can wear whatever the hell I want.
Right. And that is what I teach my clients, especially for creatives, hairdressers, artists, graphic designers. You have to show up to a certain level as authentically you. I talk about that all the time. Be you, but you also have to elevate to the respect that it's a job interview. So you have to bring it up one level. I wouldn't maybe say wear a full-blown suit, but a creative shirt in your style. Now that you know what your colors are, and I do help. It was one of the main reasons why I started my business, was to help stay-at-home moms who had stayed home and are re-entering the job force, or college students getting ready to interview. You know, being authentically you. For me, it's always a piece of jewelry that somebody's given me. And so the earrings that I'm wearing, again, they're in that lovely till you can barely see them in my hair, but my sister makes jewelry, so these are from my sister. So I'm almost always wearing a piece of jewelry that means something to me. For a recent, I have a day job too, so for a recent job interview, I had my mom with me, so the earrings that she gave me were my mom. So you can always be a piece and authentically you. You just have to find the balance of respecting the job and the role and the process, right? The process is the interview, or once you get the job. And usually say for the first 2 weeks, you still have it at that elevated level until you learn the work culture, or you're given the job description the wardrobe description. I remember working for Polo Ralph Lauren, and you would think a fashion company would let you wear whatever they put out because people want to see you wearing their clothes. It was so subdued. And I could own my own clothing store with as many clothes as I have. But I fought it, and it was a certain number. There was only 7 colors allowed. They had to be polo shirts, or they had to have a collar, or you always had to have a third piece on, meaning a jacket or something else. Oh my goodness, when you get to a certain age, you do not want to layer. Let's just put it to you that way. So finding the work culture once you get in the role, then that allows you to be you. Because like you said, a graphic designer, you almost never see front-facing clients.
Right.
And so why are you impressing anybody? And now in the culture of getting dressed from the waist up for these lovely lives and these lovely Zooms. Okay, there you go. I promise I won't take your fuzzy slippers away. That was a huge one. But getting dressed, honoring yourself for the first 10 minutes of the day allows you, again, to bring that energy to what you're doing, because you picked out something that you liked.
Right.
And then you mentally prepared yourself for your work day. And instead of opening the closet and saying, I have nothing to wear, you get to open your closet and say, I like that. That's going to be good today. And then that mindset goes into play of you're going to have a good day, you're going to be productive. Because truly what you're wearing, if you're going to your office in pajamas and slippers, not a lot generally gets done.
Right.
You know, because you never left the bed. Mentally, you never left sleeping. You never left relaxing.
Okay.
So getting up and getting dressed is huge.
Definitely. So question for you. Let's say so there was a time, and again, I didn't really want to wear suits and stuff, but there was a time when I was out in California that I went in to meet with somebody about handling their, creating their catalog. And I dressed up nicely. God, I remember it was when I just got out there. I had just moved my entire house, packed it up, got rid of a lot of stuff, was putting it on the market, so my fingernails were down to nothing. Okay. I had dirt under it was just so bad. So I remember going to get like a quick manicure, which was a very interesting experience, story for another day. Go down to this interview, and he's in shorts and a shirt. Because we're in California now.
You're in Cali.
So I felt extremely overdressed. So in those cases, do you have any recommendations? Like, obviously we can't start like, oh, hold on, let me go change what I wore. But what do you do in those cases? I mean,
you just run with it. You respected the position. You respected the fact that you were going to meet a client. So you elevated the situation. You didn't know he was going to show up in, the California vibe. So you were respecting that this person was a paying client, and you elevated it. But let's say you had to continue to meet him. Then you knew, hey, it's super casual. or where are we meeting? Are we meeting on the beach, in your office, or whatever? So then you can come down and relate to his level. But it's a level of respect for the role as you were the person in charge. So had you come in flip flops, it may not have, to that person, it may not have like clicked that you were super casual. But let's say it was reversed, and he was a little bit more business casual, and you were the one in shorts and flip flops.
That wouldn't happen.
Right, exactly. So it's a level of respecting the fact that you're meeting with a client. And then, like I said, even in the first 2 weeks of the job and you know the work culture, now you knew that his work style was casual. Right. It wasn't that the work wasn't going to get done, but now you can say, okay, now I'm on his level.
Yeah.
And let's get some work done. So that's what I wouldn't have done. I would just, from the moment I get dressed for the day. I know that this is who I'm meeting, this is what I'm doing, and then you're ready to go. And it doesn't usually come into play. And I never say dummy it down. A young lady, when I ran a consignment store, she was going to a holiday dinner, and it was in the construction field. And she was perplexed. She's like, what do I wear? It's mostly men. I said, don't dummy it down for them. Wear what you want to wear. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying go in a ball gown or, your latest Downton Abbey, tuxedo and nines. But be authentic. It's always about being you. And so if you like to get dressed and get up and do that thing, then do that. But, yeah, just don't ever dilute you.
Right.
Ever. Yeah. You're never going to feel comfortable if you do that.
True.
Ever.
And I think in that case, like, I had a jacket on. I was layered. And I just took the jacket off my set because it was a little warm in there, too. Yeah. Because that's the other thing. Like, I tend to get warm very easily. So I need to make sure that I can, that's why I layer, so I can make sure I can take some stuff down. Right. But, yeah. Yeah. Again, it really does boil down to honor you, honor the situation you're going into, and then we have a question. Okay, so we have a question from Joylyn. She's changed her hair color from brown to blonde, and so it looks different. So different in their color choices. Huh. What do you do? She's wearing lots of darker colors now because she's on the blonde side. Okay, that is that's a complex question because I can sit here and say, is it warm blonde? Are you ash blonde? Are you blue-eyed? Are you green-eyed? I don't know if we can see her. Yeah, so that is there you go, beautiful. So what you're doing when you're wearing a lot of dark colors is you're creating a contrast. You can see it in what I'm wearing. My hair is dark. My shirt is light. It's coming off with on screen. It's coming like almost bouncing on white. So you're creating a contrast. But as long as they're in your color family, then you could be good. You can change the tones of those colors. But I highly recommend just playing with some colors. And we just looked at your profile picture. Beautiful. Thanks for that. That's a really, really good question because it's very rare when you'll jump into a different season. I one time was traveling overseas to North Africa, and it was wedding season. I wanted to get my hair done. I'd never gotten my hair done before, and I looked at the hairdresser, and I said, I want what you have. She kind of had that golden J-Lo color, if you know what I was like, I want that because I know it would work with it. And she's like, impossible. And I'm like, why is it impossible? And by the time I left the salon, I was stripped and blonde, and I was like, what do I do with this now? But it's very rare when you'll jump into a different season of your colors. So I would recommend just playing with some colors, maybe lighten them up. You're either going to fall into that spring bright and bold, or you may fall into a softer pastel version of some colors. Being blonde, so there's a lot of combinations that can go there. Just play with a couple different shades is what I would say of the same color. Okay. You want to see if your skin is popping, if you pick up more yellows and colors in your skin tone, where colors will highlight some of the things as women we don't want highlighted. So if you put on a certain color and that's all you notice, that's a color to stay away from. But if you put on a color and you're seeing that harmony, that's a good color to start with. That's a really good question. Thank you, Joylyn. Yeah, I know for me, so my hair color changes in the summer versus winter. I have what I call my summer red and winter red. My summer red is, we're there now. It has more highlights. It's got more lighter pieces because when the sun hits it, it just gets lighter. And then in the winter, when I'm inside more, it gets to be a more darker red. But that also means my skin is lighter in the winter because, again, not outside as much. And believe it or not, this is my tan right here. I have many layers of pasty going on, but this is my tan, my summer tan. And what Shirley has taught me with that is that I like certain color. I love black. I do love to wear black. Black can make me look a little whiter. But in the summer, I feel I'm giving myself a pass to wear some black because I have a tan. So while it may still make me look a little whiter with my tan, it brings me right back to my normal white.
Or if you love a lot of black, break it up with jewelry so that the black is not drawing that color away. Some people look amazing in black. With my dark hair, it is a power color. I can get away with it every day of the year if I wanted to. It's a very heavy color emotionally, so you have to be careful if you're wearing that a lot. It's like, what are the emotions that are really going on there? A lot of people don't realize when they're gravitating towards those colors, you may want to just blend in. You don't want to be seen, that kind of thing. But yes, if you're into black and you know that it takes the glow away from you, put a nice chunky gold necklace on or just something to break up that black, and that will help to balance out the skin tone. I met a girl the other day. She's like, I love my very fair skin. She's like, I want to make Casper jealous. I was like, well, you do that, baby girl. And she had beautiful skin, believe it or not. But I'm the girl that will sit out in the sun and tan safely. I love being tan. I love getting out in the sun. So we're polar opposites. That's why we work well together.
Yeah, I don't have to try to get burned. That just happens when I walk around the property.
Yeah.
All right, last question, I think.
Okay.
So you mentioned with black that it can be very dark and emotional, but I know that there's also the flip side of that where somebody can look really sleek and...
absolutely.
What's the word?
Refined, classy,
something
elegant.
Like that. Yeah, something like I noticed in California. So I noticed here in the East Coast in New York, you'd see a lot of ladies in black in the summer. You don't really see that out there.
No. You don't see a lot of black in Cali at all.
Right.
We're both Cali girls at some point. I was San Diego. My father was in the military, so we lived in San Diego. I graduated. Go Marauders if my Cali people are watching. And their colors were blue and golds, and the gold on my skin is that's a color that I struggled with a lot, was yellow. But getting back to your question, black is very, very refined, and the golden rule that everybody looks good in black is not the case. Because it literally can draw color away from you. So again, adding a different color, adding a necklace, adding a tie. And yes, high black and white formals look amazing on certain people, and there's a time and a place for it. But as a general rule, black for a lot of fair-skinned people is not their friend. So you just have to play with color. But if it's your thing, I'm not going to take away your thing, your color. If you love wearing black, do you. Wear it like you own it, I say jokingly, but go for it. I'm just going to give you, like you said, guidelines to look your best. I just wouldn't say, okay, if you love wearing black, let's learn how to wear it differently. Maybe it's a pattern, maybe it's a scarf, maybe it's a brooch, maybe it's a different way to wear black.
Okay. And I guess there's just that fine line between depressing and classy.
There's a very fine line. I mean, like I said, colors have different emotions. I knew a young girl who wore beige. She went through her beige phase, and I said, what is going on with you? All I've seen you wear, this is again working back in retail, is beige, beige, beige. She goes, I've got a lot going on, and I want to blend in. Same with black. If you notice somebody's just really started to gravitate towards a lot of wearing black, you just say, hey, is everything good? Because it's a psychological grab. It's a safety blanket. It's so the color is so powerful, people. It's so emotional, and you don't realize it, really, a lot of times.
Definitely. And I used to, I totally wear a lot of black. And and I notice, because I'm paying attention now, like when I look at my closet, is it just a sea of black? And lately, no. But, you can tell kind of my mood by what the shade of my, just looking in the closet.
Right. Our friend Tanya, she had a lot of blue in her closet, and she's also very warm and looks fabulous in a similar palette to you. And I said, what's going on with all the blue? She's like, it was my father's favorite color. So it was a really sweet emotional moment, but that's why she was gravitating towards that blue, because it was a favorite color of her father's. So, yeah. There's all kinds of stories. I love lime green, can't wear it, but it was one of the first colors that I would learn to love when I was a little girl, 6 years old, coloring in my Italian grandmother's house because she didn't speak a lot of English and we didn't have a lot to do, so I colored and lime green was the color. So I don't wear it, but it's every time I see it, it makes me happy. So, and it reminds me of my grandmother. So colors have all those stories for us. The colors of your wedding, the colors of your graduation, those kind of things, those moments that are locked in with color.
I do have a really horrific lime green pants story.
Good thing they're pants.
Yeah. There was, I don't know, because I when I was younger, the way I dressed was so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love my mother, but she brought me to shop a lot of times in the men's section.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I've always had really broad shoulders, even as a kid, and I think she didn't know how to handle that. And she also shopped there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think until I was 20-something.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of awkwardness. And when I was in elementary school, there was another redheaded girl who had these bright lime green pants. And I was like, ooh, maybe I could, because then you don't really see a lot of other redheaded girls around. And I thought maybe I could pull something like that off. And that was just not the case. I got them. I got made fun of for the entire school year.
Poor thing.
And I wore them that one time, and that was it. I never wore them again.
Yeah, no, I mean, not to mention when we were younger, they didn't really have the broad diversity of clothing for kids and teenagers, right, that we have now. I played soccer, so I had the soccer thighs, the thunder thighs that the boys, teased us ridiculously about, but I could outscore them, so I was okay. But I shopped for boys' Levi's, the button-down Levi's, because they fit my body better.
Right.
And I totally get that, and there's still times now I wish they would make, different, more clothes are actually becoming more androgynous where everybody can wear anything, which is so fabulous. So you can lean over just certain cuts, or certain vendors don't make those, but you'll notice a lot of button-down shirts for women. The buttons are on the left side like they were for men, because it used to be you could tell if a button-down shirt was a man or a woman based on which size the buttons were. But now they're all leaning towards one side so that anybody can wear them. Button-down shirts are getting actually very hard to find, and good ones at that point. But yeah, so clothes have come a long way where if you love it, you put that on and walk out just go for it. So that's really cool.
I've noticed a lot more V-necks for guys.
Yeah. Well, I love a good V-neck. Again, as we mature, there's certain, and you can tell that where your collar line ends and what you're highlighting and where it goes. So there's a lot of rules about. I love 3/4 sleeves because it hides a multitude of things. I have the lovely, what is it, the T-Rex or the arms? Yeah, the T-Rex, the alligator arms. So sleeves on me, I'm either folded, or if I find a 3/4 sleeve, I buy it. There's so many things that can go into how you get up and get dressed and get ready for yourself. It's so much fun. It seems, I want to also stress that it's not a vanity thing. It's really, in a day and age where we're so in tune with self-care, honestly, getting dressed is self-care. Because like you said, what was the emotion that you felt when you used to get dressed when you were younger? You just said awkward.
I hated it.
You were awkward.
I was definitely awkward all the time.
Yeah.
I had friends that were like, we go back to school shopping, and then they're like, this is what you wear the first day is going to set the whole tone.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh my God. And where's my,
And the anxiety that went around the first day or the first week of school and all of that. So getting dressed now is a matter of honoring yourself. It's self-care. That, like I said, you get to open up your closet and say, yes, I'm going to look amazing today, and that's that self-care energy. But there's days when you're like, I'm just putting sweats on, we're not leaving the house. If we are, don't know me,
Exactly.
But there's all of those emotions that are tied into it. And same, my father did the best that he could with raising 3 girls. I've had horror stories, like you said, we shopped at Kmart and the blouse literally fell apart while I was wearing it. So you have those mortifying stories of your youth. And so maybe that's why now I look at quality of the product. I'll pay a little bit more for the quality because I don't want those moments happening. So again, fashion plays a part in a lot of our pieces of our lives.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, when we shopped in the men's section, we had decent quality clothes.
Well, because men will buy a piece that is supposed to last for a long, long time. Women buy a piece that lasts for about 10 minutes, and next week with our paycheck we'll go and buy more. So there is a little bit of a quality difference in the men and women's section. Men's clothes will tend to last a little bit longer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like once I began doing personal development work, that's when my clothing started mattering more, because I'm looking to evolve into a specific woman, you know, who's crushing her business, who's handling everything at home, who's, you know, a great friend, like all these things that I want to be when I grow up. I felt like there was a way to dress that part. It's almost like when you say dress for the job you want, not for the job you have.
Absolutely.
I'm dressing for the life that I want.
Right.
Not that I don't want this life, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
So for my next evolution, and I've noticed when I do feel like I've gone through another level of growth, I hate everything in my closet. I want everything to change. Like, I'm like, nope, that's not me anymore. So I shop a lot with Shein. So that I can make sure that I can afford all those things.
Yeah.
But,
consignment shopping, thrift store shopping, that's a great place to do that, because you can try out that next evolution without spending a lot of money. Plus, you're doing your great footprint for the earth, and your recycled, because clothes do tend to last. Then it just becomes a matter of, when you said there's a fine line of depression and sophistication, there's also a fine line between vintage and current. So you can be, you know, you have to be careful in that regard too. But dress for the job that you want, or the life that you're envisioning. I know that you do a lot of mindset work and a lot of visioning work. And how do you see yourself? You know, do you see yourself as the badass woman? And when I was in high school, I got mistaken for a substitute teacher one day because I had and I'm not saying a bad word, the pussy blouse, which is a tied. It's a type of blouse. It's a very fancy, or the LA Law blouse. If you remember the show LA Law, there's a silk blouse with a V-neck that crossed over, pleated skirts, and I dressed way ahead of my age, and I don't know where that came from. Maybe because my mom and dad are divorced. Again, those psychological connections of how you get dressed. That I wanted that female. And she always dressed, my mother never left the house without looking done from head to toe, and some would say overdone, but that was her style. She was very, very Spanish. I mean, proud Puerto Rican woman. And so she dressed to the nines, and I'll never forget, she's like, you know, in relationships, she's like, they didn't meet you when you were in your ponytail and your curlers and your robe. They met you looking like this. So she always maintained that, and that was the way she was raised. So you take those cues and those stories from people. So, I will never forget it. They're like, are you a teacher? Are you a substitute teacher? And because I was wearing, you know, it was the 80s, pleated skirts. I love me a good pleated plaid skirt. Again, something that makes me happy now. Right. And they're very, very popular right now. I love a good pleated skirt. They're just, to me, it's just a part of my childhood that I remember. And that, to me, I love getting dressed. My sister's like, this is so you. What you do is so you. You've been doing it since you were playing Barbies in your bedroom. So yeah, I think we like those pieces of us that our superpower does come out when we're younger. Whether we can recognize it or not is a different story. Yeah, for all those parents out there, if your child's, you know, just hone in on it and go for it and nurture it, because it's weird how you can evolve. And like I said, my sister's like, this has been you since you were playing with your Barbies in your bedroom. It's getting dressed and teaching people how to get dressed and to be in that. And again, it's not vanity, it's self-care. So honor yourself. Honor yourself. Yeah, and we all deserve to leave the house feeling fabulous and like we're going to slay the day. So whatever you have to do to make that happen, as long as it's not illegal, you're good. And if it is, ask for permission or forgiveness instead of permission, whatever that thing is. But we're accomplices, so I know. Right. I just don't have your bail money. It's all good. So before we wrap up, can you tell people how they can get in contact with you if they want to get their colors done? Absolutely. So my website is www.improve.com. We'll probably put it in the chat below. And then my Facebook page is Let's Get You and Improved, all one word, and you'll find the color palette is the icon for that, and we'll put that tag in the bottom too. So I love bringing color. It's so powerful in all that you do, your branding. We can talk about your website. We can take a peek at that and see what messages. I'm a very visual person, so the minute I pop open those pages, I can see what the messaging is. And let's see if because you are your brand, no matter if you work for somebody else or if you're a solo entrepreneur or business person, whatever you do, you are the brand. So as sometimes if it's me that wants to wear my sweats and my flip-flops and my ponytail, if I'm going out, people are like, and so you're always representing your brand, whether it's the gas station, the grocery store, or meeting a client. Right. You have to step up to that level because they will make an impression. I'll never forget really fast, I was dropping off makeup one day. It was my day off. It was a customer. I knew them. And I walked in with no makeup, and she said, "You don't have any makeup on." So again, I wasn't representing my brand. So you're always your brand.
Definitely. And how are you able to do your color analysis just in person, or is that also virtual?
No, I do it both. Virtual, I really honed in. There's for the past 6 years, and especially during COVID, totally pivoted into refining, doing your color analysis virtually. You send me a series of selfies. I give you the instructions on how to do that. And I put everything that I would do in a in-person color analysis. I literally have created comprehensive slides that can do the same thing, can mimic. And a lot of my clients, as a matter of fact, are completely virtual. And then in person, I'm here in Connecticut, so I can travel, I say almost all of New England, and I will take a drive, and color parties up to 5 people are fantastic. Nice. And if you want to have me in an office for like office givebacks or enrichment days, I can set up for the whole day, and people can come and go on their breaks or their time and get their palettes created right then and there. So there's a lot of different ways. And I've done that for realtors. Realtors are really big on that. Teachers, insurance offices that have those week-long activities for their companies. A lot of people are doing that more and more, giving back to their staff. Nice. So that's another give back that I can do. I can do anything. We'll create it. If you have a vision, we'll figure it out.
That's right. We are problem solvers.
That is it. That's it. I say if I can, I will, and if I can, I'll figure it out.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
thank you for joining today.
No, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
I hope you guys got tons of great tips, and we're happy that we continued the conversation on color. So we'll see you again next week, same time, same place, and I hope you have a fabulous week.
Make it a colorful one.
Yes. Bye, everyone.